Hello, my name is Visor. Welcome to episode 22 of Let's Play The Witcher 2. Last episode, we crossed over the mist and headed to Vergen, the city of dwarves. This is where the rebel army that wants to fight Hensel is at, so Saskia's here, Yorvith's here, as well as a bunch of magical relics, including a sword named Hatred, an important spearhead, and the Dumb Banner's banner. Anyway, let's talk to the town guards.
Why, it's Geralt of Rivia and Zoltan Chive. Pinch me, Burden, for I believe I've dozed off while on duty.
Could be an illusion, eh? Or some spectres from the battlefield have lost their way. Maybe we ought to tickle them with an axe, just to be sure.
I'm afraid there's no mage out there who can conjure up the Witcher's mug, nor the aroma of Zoltan's beer-soaked beard.
Yarpen Zigrin. Lice eat me if I'm not delighted to see that horrid mug of yours.
This lad here's scaling Burden. Geralt, what are you doing standing there as if you've swallowed a halberd? Got a hug for an old mate?
So he says old mate, but I don't actually know whether he's met Geralt or not. Or it could just be amnesia again. Who knows?
Greetings. Triss has told me a lot about you.
We Marigold? Ha! How is the lass? Let me tell you, Scalen, this here Witcher's the very embodiment of chivalry. All the Selkirks of the world can't hold a candle to him. And you know why?
No, but I got a feeling we're about to find out.
Well, I don't know if Geralt's a knight, but he's pretty awesome and does a lot of pretty cool stuff, right?
Me? A knight? I'd sooner call Zoltan a show dancer.
Well then, listen everyone. At the time, we were escorting Caedwini army convoys through the Sherwood forests. Aye, we served Hensel once, though all was for coin. Anyways, the Witcher was on the road as well, with Triss and Ciri, heading south. The lass, I tell you, was a demoness incarnate. Pure pepper on her feet, and healthy as a horse. But the sorceress fell ill. Some terrible pestilence held her, gave her the runs. The woman needed to go every 5 minutes. Never seen anything like it. And I've had my share of gut rumblings. This one time, I roasted an old ailing gerbil and...
Oi! You promised us a chivalrous tale.
And I'm delivering it, lad. In any case, the Witcher would carry her into the bushes time after time. He treated and cared for her, cleaned her, bathed her.
Sounds normal to me. A man looking after his woman. It's too much to call it chivalrous, Yarpen.
Ah, wrong. Triss weren't his woman. Not his wife nor lover. She was sick and in need of aid. And he was on a secret mission. Might have left her in some city, might have gone off on his own, but he didn't. Know why? Because he's got a heart of gold. He truly cares. A lad like you, Scalen, don't know that being a knight's not just about thrashing around in full plate, a long sword in hand. It's not just about fighting duels and winning tournaments.
I missed hearing your bullshit, Zigrin.
I don't believe anyone else has tried to tell me that story.
How is the wee Marigold, anyway?
Not great. The Kingslayer kidnapped her.
Oh, damn the dogs. That's downright terrible.
I suppose it's no coincidence you're here.
We have a few reasons, but let's start with Triss, since they already know her.
Triss could be somewhere in this area.
The plague. I've not seen her 5 years, must be. Since that day they proclaimed you dead. Last saw her in Rivia, in any case.
From what I've been able to establish, the Kingslayer forced her to teleport the two of them to this area, and she's not on the other side of the fog.
What did this Kingslayer look like?
A huge, bald witcher. Wears a medallion with a snake on it.
Sorry, Geralt. Doesn't even ring the tiniest bell, any of that.
I might know something. This drunk in Vergen claims he saw a redhead fall from the sky somewhere among the ravines. And then he said the sorceress Philippa Eilhart came around looking for this woman.
Shriveled old minx.
She sent her servant and some peasants to the ravines after her. But they came back empty-handed. Now Philippa's servant maid's gone, leaving the sorceress angry as a wasp. She even turned one of the plebs into a pig. I spoke to one of those peasants. He claims the lass was no servant, but an Nilfgaardian agent. And she apparently found something in those ravines. Maybe it was Triss. And maybe it was that witcher. Madame Eilhart. Or the old minx, as Yarpen calls her. Knows she's been duped and can't forgive herself for it.
Did the woman flee south, deeper into Eddern?
Fucking hell. She came out the main gate not more than an hour ago. Headed straight for the fog. Thought she might be out to do some magic probing or whatnot.
She knew a bit of magic. She might have crossed.
I guess I need to visit Shillard when I get back.
Now, Shillard is the Nilfgaardian emissary that we met with King Henselt and King Foltest.
How's Yorvith? Any chance I might run into him?
Minimal. He follows Saskia around like a once-neglected pup. Eyes on her at all times.
At least the lass is well protected. What do you seek from Yorvith? Last I heard, you weren't exactly chummy.
You heard right. But when I last saw him in Flotsam, he had something I need to lift the curse.
Even if you see him, I doubt he'll give you anything out of the kindness of his heart. Perhaps Saskia can convince him?
Guess I don't have much of a choice.
Alright. Also, we're looking for the Dung Banner's banner. I guess I probably should call it a standard, because Dung Banner sounds weird.
Any idea where I might find the Dun Banner?
Try the Netherworld. The whole unit was cut down during the battle 3 years ago.
I meant the unit's standard, which symbolizes death.
Ah, that makes it a lot easier. We buried it with the remains of the Kedwenis.
Where?
Just outside Vergen. I'll mark it on your map, as the road could get confusing. Strange things are afoot in those crypts, Witcher. Kedweni ghosts scaring off our folk. That would be normal since they were invaders. But one's some kind of amateur historian, asking all that venture there about the battle and the Dun Banner.
I'll look into it. Thanks.
And of course, we need to meet Saskia.
I have to see Saskia.
To what end?
To dispel the mist of wraiths, I need a few magic artifacts.
What's Saskia got to do with that?
Her sword is one of those items.
And what do you suggest I do? Yorvith and Saskia banned us from letting strangers in. And here are two old mates come over from the other side who want just that. A lose-lose situation if ever I've seen one.
That ought to be easy to get around.
Cow pies ought to be easy to get around, yet we don't always succeed.
I'm staying here, Yarpen. I want to join you, enlist. Will you have me in the Dwarven Brigade?
Will I have you, Chiefy? Will I plough and have you? Why, I'll make you fucking commander, you cocksucker! Problem solved. Scalan, you're my witness. Zoltan's no longer a stranger.
Aha.
All right. Now I'll introduce you to Saskia, and you can try to clarify the story with a sword for her. Or whatnot.
Don't you fret about the sword, Geralt. I promise to ascend to the fucking heights of oratory. Be soft as a mink, cautious as a novice strumpet. I'll get you that blade if I have to shave my beard off.
All right, then. See that, Scalan? We were headed for a tragedy.
Now we're headed for a comedy.
Ah, youth these days. Lacking hope and heart. You know what Zoltan and I saw at Brenna, lad? To us, there's no such thing as the impossible.
Anyway, that's pretty much everything, so it's time to do stuff.
It's nice to talk to you all, but we've got things to do.
Ah, that's life. Open the gate. I've got to fetch me a certain sword.
Wait a minute. If by some miracle you obtain that cursed blade, I'd advise you not to parade it out the main gate past the squirrels.
Got another solution?
There's another passage. I'll mark it in the Witcher's map and show you myself. Sound all right to you?
It does. In the meantime, I'll look around for that flag.
Prime, I'd say.
Off we go then.
Alright, so now you're free to explore Vergen, sort of. If you actually look at the map, this is the city of Vergen. We're just out here in the front, but there's a big gate that they're not going to let you through, as, you know, you're not part of the resistance. Now, if we had followed Yorvith, that would be where we are. We'd be inside Vergen, taking missions there. They got a mage in there too. Bunch of good stuff. Anyway, there's also this peddler here.
Oh, another traveler. From where? Wait, let me guess.
From Temeria.
Had it at the tip of my tongue. So, what brings you to Vergen? Wait, I know.
Business.
Just what I thought. And you're...
A witcher.
Well, well. We don't often see witches here. What do witches do anyway?
We solve problems.
Oh, I have a problem with my boyfriend.
Did you find his entrails strewn on the porch and his head a few paces away? Because those are the kind of problems I solve.
Anyway, I wanted to show her off, because first, I thought that dialogue was funny. But secondly, this is the only merchant you can sell stuff to. And that's really important because there's a lot of stuff to loot here, but you don't have storage. So you gotta sell all your extra stuff. And really in this episode, we should be overburdened with a lot of stuff real soon. Now, Geralt said he was gonna look for the banner first, but that's not my plan. Instead, I wanna go on a monster hunting side quest, and then I wanna find Zoltan in the mines. However, before we can do that, we need to head back to the entrance to this whole area where we came out of the mist, because there's a fork there that we need to take. Anyway, here we are back at the crossroads. Over here, that's the way to the mist that we came from. And we can actually enter the mist again. The problem is the medallion only leads us to Vergen. So if we enter the mist, we're only going to end up coming back here anyway, so no point in going there. That's why we no longer have access to our storage, and we no longer have access to the infinite harpy thing, which is actually kind of useful. Anyway, over here in that hut, originally this quest was from a DLC, but then it was added in, I think, patch 1.3 or something like that. It is very unique.
Witcher, I might have some work for you.
Did I hear you mention a job?
Indeed. One very much in your line. I know a collector in Vengerberg. He pays well for all kinds of monster-related curios.
Ericus venom? Necker hearts? Sounds doable.
Harpy feathers.
Uh-huh. Why feathers?
I never asked. Got the order and that's that. Interested?
What kind of coin are we talking about?
Why don't we do a test? Bring me a bundle of fine feathers, for which I'll pay you, and if we're both satisfied, we'll figure things out.
He's gonna want more than a bundle? That'll mean a lot of traipsing around.
A few more, yes. So?
I'll keep my eyes open, but no promises. I've got more important things to deal with.
Anyway, first let's check out his house. There's, that here. Pretty sure that's not bird poop, but you never really know. Anyway, for this quest, you basically need to collect harpy feathers. His first request will be 12, later on he'll ask for more. And actually the best way to get these feathers is not here. Instead, taking advantage of the infinitely respawning harpies outside of the Visionary's house is a lot faster. Plus, these harpies are about 3 times as tough as the harpies at the Visionary's house. And there's these like super harpies called Enrias or whatever here. They're pretty tough as well. Still, if you happen to not take those feathers and you're locked here since, you can't go through the mist anymore, you can still do the quest just by murdering all the harpies here. It might take a while, you'll need to be careful, but it's totally doable. Do a lot of back rolls though, because if you get surrounded, you're fucked. They'll just beat you to death. Now, for weakening them from a distance, yeah, you can use silver daggers, bombs, but unless you got some sort of magical solution, I wouldn't use ranged weapons too much, because the pay for this quest is actually kind of shit, and using up all your bombs or your daggers for this isn't really worth it in the long run. Anyway, I'm going to be just murdering my way all the way to the bottom, so I'll see you when I'm done. Alright, we killed all the harpies and got all the feathers that we could. So let's talk to him and see what happens.
I've got your feathers.
Wonderful. Excellent quality. Just what I needed. I'll pay for each and every one. If you're in need of coin, just bring me more.
Now, we could just accept the quest and move on. He actually gives you the most gold if you just accept it. But it's a little more fun to argue with him, so let's show off Geralt the businessman.
Harpies have become rare in this area.
I'm not sure I understand.
Supply drops, prices rise.
By how much?
By a lot or a whole lot?
Pay me twice, maybe 3 times as much, and we've got a deal.
You must be mad. I'll not give you that.
Oh yeah, you will. Especially since we're so persuasive.
You said this was Witcher's work, so either agree to my rate or find yourself another harpy specialist.
So be it. I shall pay you more.
Now, if you don't argue with him, he'll pay you 400, but if you argue with him successfully, he only pays you 360 orens. So really, it wasn't worth it, but I thought it was funny. Plus, it doesn't really matter since he's ripping you off anyway. He's only paying like 6 or 7 orens per feather. You can sell harpy feathers for 35 in town. Anyway, as you can see, there are no harpies here at the moment, despite their giant nest being at the bottom. Instead, what we need to do is meditate for like a day, and they'll come back. And I think the best place to meditate, well, apparently is next to the guy's door, but I pretty much do it wherever, and it usually works. So see you when I have all the feathers. Alright, so I have all the feathers now. It just took 3 meditations. I actually have 78 feathers, but you really only need 68. Because after you give him 60 feathers, he'll ask for another 8 of them.
More harpy feathers, just like you wanted.
Good work! Why, it's even a pleasure to pay you.
I gotta admit, that might have been the strangest job I've ever had.
Well, it's hardly done.
Okay?
I'll hear you out, but I've got a bad feeling about this.
I need a few more feathers.
Who is it that needs them? You or this collector?
But he does, of course.
Pretty suspicious. Why didn't you tell me how many I was supposed to bring right off?
I needed to see the quality. Just a few feathers more. I'll pay extra. Decide.
Let me think about it.
Well, like I said, I already have the extra feathers, so let's just give it to him.
I've got some more feathers. Sleek and untattered. I hope that'll do it.
I look at them and select the finest. There's your payment, with a small bonus.
What am I supposed to do with the ones I have left?
Whatever you wish. I've no need for them. Farewell.
So in total, you needed 80 feathers, so if you want to farm at the Visionary's place, that would be what you need to bring over. However, we were able to do this quest without having to farm at the Visionaries, so it's at least possible if you forget to bring them. Anyway, let's see what he's up to.
Yes, you're beautiful, my queen, my lady. You're a wondrous sight. All in your nest envy you.
I don't know whether this is a sexual thing, but it definitely seems like some sort of fetish.
Hope I'm not interrupting. Pretty warm for this time of year.
It is colder usually, isn't it?
The mages must be up to something.
Oh, yes. They devise with experiments. Always changing the world. They'll botch it one day, and it'll be the end of us, I tell you.
I shudder to even think about it. I want you to have this feather. I have no use for it.
No, thank you. Neither do I.
Neither does this collector, you mean?
Yes, neither does he.
I wonder why he needed a specific number of feathers.
Perhaps to match the number of empty spaces in his feather album.
Don't see how that would matter.
It's immensely important.
Well, I guess I don't know much about collections.
Oh, this is so fucking ridiculous. This is the ultimate payoff for this quest. It definitely wasn't the money, it wasn't worth it. Though it did help fill up my adrenaline bar, so I guess that's cool. Well, there's actually one other reward. We get a special trophy, and if we put it on, it makes us look like, well, this. Yeah, there's not much to say about it. Though there is something I need to say about trophies. It looks like I might have made a slight mistake. So the K-Run trophy, all it lists is 3 armor, 50 vitality. However, it does have an unlisted +5 damage. Which means if I switch to the Troll trophy, I actually only gain 4 damage at the cost of 3 armor and 50 vitality. I don't think that's really worth it. I mean, I'm okay with +9 damage because, well, when a sword does 35 damage and you swing it 3 to 4 times, there's actually a decent chance that I can kill with one swing faster by getting +9 damage, which in turn also increases my survivability. However, for +4 damage, to trade all that, that's not worth it. So we're switching back to the K-Run trophy. Anyway, enough of that. So we're done with dealing with that furry or beaky or feathery or whatever he is. Now we can deal with more pressing matters like finding Zoltan, since he's actually deep in enemy territory, trying to get us a very important sword. Now the secret passage is right over here, but before we go in, we want to take some cat potion, because it's darker than night in there. Like seriously, the night missions I can see better than in this cave. It's ridiculous. It's like they didn't program in ambient light or something. In fact, you're going to probably want multiple cat potions because it's kind of confusing in there. It's sort of a maze. Luckily, when we finish here, we should leave with full inventory. And I'm going to make a lot of new potions because, well, I'm trying to do the whole alchemy thing and generate some mutagens. There's also a few secret items hidden in here, and I'll try my best to show them all off. Anyway, probably want to pull out your silver sword because this place is full of a lot of monsters. Now, the first part of the tunnels isn't too bad. It's fairly linear. You just got maybe one or two monsters here and there. However, I would often check your medallion because there's often resources just all over the place. You get some cloth, dust, leather, as well as a sign here that'll increase your damage, which we definitely need here. As for all the monster parts, I'll probably leave a bunch of it behind. My inventory is going to fill up really quickly here, and really, collecting monster parts to sell isn't worth it in my opinion. Especially when harpy farming is a lot faster. Anyway, there's a path here, that's a dead end. We want to take the path to the left first. Now this goes for a bit, there's going to be a huge crowd of neckers, which isn't too bad. At this point, you pretty much two-shot the big neckers, and your fireball one-shots the small ones. So, great way to fill up your adrenaline bar. We'll grab a few body parts here and there though. If we're full, we can always drop these extra bits. But for the most part, monster parts are fairly light, so they're alright. Yeah, that should be enough. We're gonna grab a few other things later on. This path here is another dead end. So just to pull the map, we entered here. This way is a dead end. This way is a dead end. We want to get here, but there's a few other things I want to explore as well. So you want to take this door over here. It's not a complicated maze, but it does get kind of confusing considering the size of the place. This room is pretty much devoid of anything of value. There's some iron here usually. I guess I can grab a few of those. We'll probably end up having to drop some things though, because we're going to fill up here. Anyway, follow this path. There should be some more monsters over here, which is fine. We're about to level up, and I kind of really do want to level up. Because as soon as I level up, I'll be able to get the second level in side effect. Side effect is the ability that allows me to generate mutagens when I craft. And, well, when I do alchemy, not craft. Crafting is paying someone else to make me stuff. When I do alchemy, it has a 10% chance of generating a mutagen. Which means I'm going to get a bunch of mutagens that I really don't care for, but hopefully we can get some greater mutagens and I can finally start showing those off. Anyway, now in this next room, there's sort of a fork. There's also a greater rot fiend to the left, right there. And they're actually pretty fast. Like, I one time tried to run away from them because I was low in health. It totally chased me down, which is kind of weird. Granted, I don't have improved rolling yet, so we'll get that later. Anyway, looking at this fork over here, just to keep us all oriented, over this ledge, this is actually the entrance we came in from. So if we check the map real quick, as you can see, we're overlooking the ledge, which is great. Now, there is a locked door here that we can't get into yet. Inside, there are some better pants. They're not amazing, but they're slightly better than what we have, so we probably should get them. Plus, I think Geralt's been wearing these pants for like 2 months now. I don't know if he's the type that would wash his pants. Maybe he'll oil it or something, I don't know. What do you do with leather pants? Do you oil them? Anyway, a lot of noise because the rot fiend are fighting neckers above you, but we can't join in on that fight yet, so whatever. So let's keep them going. Looking on the map, we're sort of going the wrong direction, but thing is, I want to go to the bottom right corner because there's something there that I want to show off. Anyway, let's keep on going. Now, if I don't level before I reach the end, I might take a slight camera cut just to kill everything else in here. I absolutely want to level. It's just a good thing to have happen. And these guys should help. So, another bit of Necker on Rot Fiend violence. Best thing to do, kill the Rot Fiends because they'll explode and hurt the Neckers. Though I'm not absolutely sure that you get the EXP if the Rot Fiend explodes and kills the Necker. Whatever though. Should be alright. There's a lot of monsters in here anyway. So, this path leads to a dead end full of Rot Fiends. Good for killing an EXP. Not really interested in going there right now. Nothing to really show off. On the other branch, though, there's a very unique enemy at the end. Not these guys. This is pretty normal. You know what I should do, actually? I haven't done this in a while. Let's throw something. Let's throw Dancing Star. Now, the Dancing Star, what it does is sets everything on fire, which is different from the Grape Shot, which just explodes. And it does okay initial damage, though it's a little bit too varied. However, the burning damage lasts pretty long, and it's pretty good. And of course, it's a guaranteed burn, but it lasts longer than, I think, Igni. Now, we might get these body parts, but probably not. because what I'm really interested in is the thing at the end of this tunnel. There's something big and dangerous. There it is. And there's also a rot fiend, which is somewhat annoying. I don't really want to fight both of them. So let's weaken him a little with a little more dancing star. That should be good. Now the big thing is called a bulvor or something. It is also a necrophage, so it's not really fighting the rot fiend. There's both coming after me. But once the rot fiend's out of the way, it's pretty easy to take care of. Eventually it will start blocking, but you can always use a little bit of Igni. That'll break through the guard for a little bit more. It also has a charge and smash attack. Unlike the rot fiend, even though he's also a necrophage, he doesn't explode, so I'm okay with that. The important thing is, there it is. I want to get that. One, it's a trophy, which is okay. It's not the greatest trophy. I think it's mostly defensive. But I don't really need it. Oh, cat potion went out. Like I said, it's really, really dark. Like, I don't know what those lanterns are doing, but they're not giving off enough light. Anyway, we could also take some other potions. It is pretty dangerous down here, and I have died. But ultimately, it's not absolutely necessary, and I think we'll be okay. Anyway. Now, you might wonder, oh, did I come down this side of the tunnel just for the trophy? No, there's actually something else here. See that chest over there? Inside is a blood sword. Now, this is a silver sword, and I think from a stat standpoint, it's actually better than the blue meteor sword. However, the blue meteor sword comes with +7 sign damage. Since I'm doing a spell damage run, it's actually better for me. Maybe if you're focusing on swordsmanship, this would be better, but for me, it's not that great. However, it does come with 3 enchantment slots, so it does have a higher potential than any of the robust meteor swords. I could consider slotting in a bunch of runes to it, but ultimately, I don't think it's worth it. I could slot in 3 moon runes, and I would only gain 1 sign damage. That's not worth it at all. Or maybe I could do 2 moon runes and a fire rune, but fire rune's really not that necessary. Alright, time to do some inventory management. Anyway, as I was saying, I don't think the fire rune is actually that necessary for a silver sword. Because when you fight monsters, setting them on fire doesn't really do much. Yeah, it'll do some damage over time, but unlike humans who start flailing when they're set on fire, when you set a monster on fire, it just sort of takes more damage and it doesn't really give a shit. So, for me anyway, to kill monsters, it's better to have higher initial damage, which you get by increasing your sign damage. Now, Fire Rune also decreases your chance of burning, but there's literally been only one monster that actually sets you on fire, and that was the Giant Dragon. And I have a feeling no sword's going to make a difference against that thing. Granted, the Fire Rune also increases your physical damage, which is nice, but as a whole package, I don't think it's absolutely necessary for a silver sword. Anyway, here's another Bulvorg. This one's not the same. Not really that much more difficult. I believe these things are also supposed to spray you with poison or acid or something, but I've never seen it. They just sort of let me beat them until they're dead. Here we go. Now this one actually has different items from the previous one. Well, it's not all different. You can still get its brain, but you also get a Draugr armor fragment, which is absolutely necessary for this really cool armor that we can get later on. Now, you were supposed to be able to loot these from the opening Draugrs in the beginning of Chapter 2, but like I said, I could never figure out how do you loot them. You're just always in combat. Anyway, also in this room is a dead dwarf, which is not that special. However, on him he has a key. This is the key to unlock the room with the special pants. In fact, I'm going to take a moment, get those pants, and kill a bunch of monsters because I really want to level up. Because after this, there's going to be a cutscene, and then we're going to automatically leave the mines. Alright, we're back in this room again. As you can see, I've acquired the pants. You can sort of tell because my pants are now striped. Ooh, big difference. Additionally, I have leveled up, so I want to put a point into side effect. With this, we're going to start making a bunch of alchemy stuff, but even if we get the right mutagens, we're not going to use them yet. Because after all, we have to wait until level 25 when we get an ability that makes mutagens more effective. Anyway, now that we've explored most of the mines, we might as well do a quick overview. Entrance on the top left, and the bottom right, that's where the blood sword is, also where a Bulvor is. There's also some secret pants in this room over here. They're not great pants, but they're better than what we have. But you need a key to get in this room, which you get from this room over here, from a dead dwarf. Also, Bulvorg's in that room. So, kill the Bulvorg, get the key, get the secret pants. Anyway, that pretty much does it. So, let's go see Zoltan. He's been down in these tunnels long enough. He might actually like it here, though. I mean, he's a dwarf. I think they're into dark, damp places. Or no, that's something different. Never mind. Unfortunately, he is not alone.
Zoltan, you were supposed to bring the sword.
I failed, Geralt.
That was not the best idea, Witcher. Dwarves are poor liars in general, and that's especially true of this one.
You know everything you need to know?
Yes. You need the weapon to lift the curse from Henselt and free the souls of the fallen.
Milady, I know you're at war with Henselt, but the curse threatens Vergen as well. It's a field of uncontrollable magic energy.
No need to exert yourself. I know this. The sword shall be yours.
Just like that?
Yes. I'm glad to help and thank you on behalf of the Vergenes, the souls of whose loved ones will finally be granted the peace they have so long deserved.
So Saskia is pretty awesome. She's just giving you the sword because it's the right thing to do. Excellent. Unfortunately, the footage here is dark as dicks. I think I might adjust it in post because you can't see anything right now. Geralt's just a floating head, and the whole thing looks kind of ridiculous.
Milady.
I am no lady. My name is Saskia.
Saskia, I'll need some time to lift the curse, enough for you to fall back. The Scoia'tael and peasants can't hope to defeat a professional army in open battle. Withdraw deeper into Edirn.
You underestimate them.
Looking to be another Ellerin? Do you want them to die with your name on their lips? You know that's what'll happen if there's a fight. The fighters will die quick deaths, but then Henselt's men will enter the town. They'll spare no one. They'll kill the men, rape the women, turn the beautiful ones into slaves, and torture the rest to death.
I have seen conquered cities and know the risks. Why do you aid Henselt? Why do you risk your life to lift this curse?
Yeah, we're definitely not doing the first answer. Who am I, the Terminator? No. Instead, we'll just tell her the truth. I mean, she's been pretty straight with us and pretty awesome, so let's just tell her the truth, that we have amnesia and we want our memories back.
I have my own agenda. A certain seer foretold that in lifting the curse, I'd recover my memory. I'm certainly not Henselt's devoted follower.
In that case, join my forces.
I can't. I have certain obligations on the other side. Friends who remained in Henselt's camp. Friends I can't leave behind.
I too have obligations that prevent me from fleeing or withdrawing. I cannot disappoint all those who place their trust in me. Go where you must and hope your obligations don't drive you to fight me.
I'm no soldier, Saskia. You can be sure of that.
Time will tell. Farewell, Witcher, and look after your friends. Henselt is a true rogue.
See ya, you old prick. Don't let them kidwinize you, and don't get killed.
That goes for you too, Zoltan. Farewell to you both.
Saskia, I forgot one wee thing. Geralt wishes to meet with Yorvith. He's got dealings with the elf.
I need the head of the spear used to finish off Sabrina as she uttered the curse. Yorvith had it when we ran into each other in Flotsam.
He lost it playing dice. Scanlan now has the spearhead. The young Burden is a gambler, an addict, and perhaps Vergen's top sharp. You should speak to him.
Yorvith put that spearhead up as a bet?
When it comes to getting folk to sit down to a game of poker, Scanlan can be convincing. His pack is bulging with treasures. You'd be surprised. All won at dice.
I won't need convincing. We'll see how he does against me. Farewell to you both.
Alright, that's the end of it. Now we can stay underground, get more loot, or we can return to the surface. I'm returning to the surface because I'm full of stuff already anyway. But either way, that's pretty much it for this episode. We've gotten the sword, so next episode all we need to do is get the spearhead and the Dung Banner standard. But until then, thank you all for watching, and hope to see you guys next time.